Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast NFL edition. Today, we are talking about week 4 in the NFL, previewing some of the big games per usual, talking about the games that we've seen. We got the NFL expert, head producer of the L7C, Justin Ackenda. How you doing today, sir?
Doing well, brother. Cannot complain. The bets were pretty good this weekend on the NFL, so I cannot complain. Only a couple of mishaps. DK Metcalf not catching a touchdown yesterday.
Mm.
Fucked me out of $100. It was tough. Very tough. I think the league put the call on. The books did, I mean. They want to make sure that shit did not happen.
Justin, man, how are you feeling that we're already 1/4 done with the season?
I think it's precisely like 24.5, I believe, with the 17th game. But yeah, it'd be going, man. It'd be going every week. I just feel like it's a grind.
And this past week, man, just not even past week. Yeah, this past Monday, 2 Monday Night Football games again. One of them had a very intriguing matchup. Detroit, Seattle. Seattle was one of the surprise undefeated teams at this moment. Detroit, we know they made it to the NFC Championship game. They were up on San Francisco. We know the story after that. They're expected to do good things. Justin, this was a lot of points. This game, it looked like Detroit was going to run away with it. Then Seattle tried to make a little push, but then Detroit was just too much. They were just in their offensive bag.
Yeah, man. Detroit got out to a hot start. A DK Metcalf fumble did not help things. He fumbled, what was it, the first or second quarter, trying to get extra yards. So you can't be mad at it, but it was just tough. They went into halftime. The the Seahawks were down 14, and then the Seahawks started to get busy. They started scoring that ball, throwing that ball all over the place. Geno Smith looked good. He handled the rush really well. I thought Detroit was getting good pressure on him. They just couldn't get to him really until the end of the game. The Seahawks had more time of possession. They ran more plays. They had shit over 125 yards more than the Lions. It was just the Lions were just so efficient. Jared Goff didn't have an incompletion. He was 18 for 18, 292 yards with 2 touchdowns, and a nigga called the ball. Yeah, but yeah, it was shootout. Honestly, the bet, even though the score doesn't really indicate it was the best game of the weekend in my opinion. And you gotta worry about both these teams in the NFC. The Seahawks are good. They're leading their division. Detroit's well on their way. They only got 1 loss. Jared Goff finally looked good in this game after having a couple of weeks of not looking too good. So yeah, I was about this game. You gotta worry about both of these teams. Good game on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it perfectly. Like all these teams, those teams are going to make some noise in the NFC going forward. And it's weird too, because Kenneth Walker, he had a 3 touchdown performance, and they still couldn't capitalize on that.
Yeah, they couldn't really get him going into the second half. The Lions were able to keep the Seahawks run game bottled up in the first half, but the second half, the Seahawks were moving up and down the field. The lead was just too much for him at that point already. With the Lions going into halftime up 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, so that was the better of the Monday night games. The other game was a very struggle. But then if you go backwards to the Sunday night game, highly anticipated. Bills, who at that point everyone's talking, it's always that time of year, early Bills talk, best team in the league, Josh Allen MVP. The Ravens finally getting their first win, like they're trying to wheel the shit back. And to a thing that no one expected, Justin, no one expected this outcome. The Ravens destroyed the Bills.
Yeah, that was a beatdown. I was on the Ravens this game, bet the Ravens, thought they're going to win. I just didn't think Buffalo was going to be able to come out and do what. After what they did to Jacksonville on Monday Night Football last week, the Bills need to be humble, and that's exactly what happened on the Ravens' first offensive play. Derrick Henry going 87 yards and getting a full dose of Derrick Henry the entire damn game. Let me read Derrick Henry's stats. Towards the end of that game, they kept him in after the starter was out to try to get him to 200 yards. Shout out to the Bills for not letting him get 200 yards, but if he would have got that got 1 more yard rushing, he would have been the most he would have been the player with the most 200 rushing yard games of all time. But Derrick Henry, 24 rushes, 199 yards, and that touchdown. He added no, yeah, only one touchdown. Had another receiving touchdown. Lamar Jackson was in his bag all night, very efficient. Someone know how Jared Goff was last year. It it was just a beatdown, man. It was just the Ravens night at home after coming off a week where they went to Dallas and almost let Dallas come back into that game at the very, very end. So you knew you were going to get a locked in Ravens team. I don't think we need to worry about the Bills too much. Some of these games just happen. Sometimes, hey, you play a good quarterback at home with momentum, and you got Derrick Henry doing what he does. But I will say, I like how the Ravens came into that game. They
Mm-hmm.
did exactly what everyone knows that they need to be fucking doing is giving
Mm-hmm.
that ball to Derrick Henry and running that bitch. Because dealing with him over the course of a 3.5 hour football game is a bitch. And that is going to win you a lot of football games. So I do like how the mentality that the Ravens did go into that game with.
I think you said the quote best in the text, like the Ravens stopped being freaking cute.
Yes, they stopped being fucking cute. Stop overthinking this shit. You got fucking 245-pound Derrick Henry back there and Lamar Jackson at quarterback. It don't gotta be that fucking hard. You don't gotta be that hard. You just gotta establish that boy Derrick Henry, and shit gonna open up for Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers, my cousin, and Rashard Bateman and Mark Andrews, maybe, if he can ever get the foot out his ass and as they like it. Like, that's what you gotta do. Get Derrick Henry involved, and good shit's gonna happen on that offense.
Yeah, agreed, agreed. It's just like you said, it's the humbling of the NFL because literally last week on prime time, I mean, you see the Bills just absolutely embarrass the Jaguars. So then the following week, them getting embarrassed. It's the duality of the NFL.
Yeah, it was just the Bills' time. They were due at that point. They were definitely due, but the Bills got this week. Oh, the
They
Bills
got
are
Houston.
going to
Yeah, that's a
yeah, the
big
Bills are
game.
going to the Bills are going to Houston this week, so they're going to get that taste. I expect the Bills to be locked in on that game because you can't. Most of the time, when the good quarterbacks take L's like that and the good teams, that next week they're locked in. They're ready.
And then the Ravens got Cincinnati. So both teams coming off this game have big games.
Yeah, big, huge games. We'll get into that a little later, but absolutely.
And then going off there, another game, the Eagles and the Bucs. This was a rematch of the wild card game last year, and it was the same result as the wild card game last year. The Buccaneers just blitzed the Eagles. They were down as many as 24-0, and Philly had nothing for this game, man.
No, another beat down. Like you said, they were down 24 nothing at this at point in the game. The Tampa Bay had 29 first downs compared to the Eagles 16. The defense got to Jalen Hurts 6 times. It was rough. And the Eagles, man, like I would be concerned. I mean, they didn't have receivers this game. I get it, but you just can't have a performance like that. Not to Tampa. Not to Tampa. And shout out to Baker Mayfield. He's playing at MVP level this season. 30 for 40. 30 completed 30 passes out 47, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns. Our boy Mike Evans at
Yes,
8 catches, 94 yards, 1 touchdown, future Hall of Famer. The Bucs were just more ready to play in that game, and this got to be an indictment on Nick Sirianni and that coaching staff. And Jalen Hurts did not look very well either. So they're going to the bye week this week. They got to get this shit figured out. They got to get this shit figured out. It ain't going to get easier. The noise ain't going to get quieter. So they absolutely need to figure out their problems because they can't keep going down like this.
yeah, because they need all their weapons back. But that's one of the flip side of the argument is you don't pay Jay Hurts all that money to be this bad even without weapons. And with Sirianni too, like he's a different coach from what he was when he went to the Super Bowl because obviously both those coordinators left. But if you're one of those top coaches in the league, you're expected to lose coordinators almost every year because when you do well, they get opportunities and you got to be the one to keep your team in check. But ever since those coordinators left, they've not been the same.
I won't even say that. It's been since they went 10-0 and went on that downward slope. And his continued into this season. It's continuing this season. The week before, they only beat the Saints by 3, only putting up 15 points, and then that loss to the Falcons on Monday night. That's two back-to-back. Well, 3 now since they lost to Tampa Bay. But that's 3 back-to-back performances that you're not proud of, that you don't want to be putting out there, and it needs to get corrected. Or you know how Philadelphia is. You know how Cedric is. Like,
he won't be long.
They would not stand for that.
He won't be long for this team. He will not be long for the team to go. I mean, that Bucs Thursday night game is a big game, obviously, for the NFC South because it's a lot more competitive than we thought it would be. But that'll be an interesting one on Thursday.
Sure.
So we got some big games, like we've already talked about. Like this one, Bills and Texans. You got CJ Stroud. This was obviously a preseason favorite, the Houston Texans. You got the Bills, Josh Allen. It's at Houston. What are your thoughts on that one?
Woo, my boy Joshy boy going into Houston, man. Yeah, it's going to be tough. The Texans are 0-4 against the spread this year. 0-4, played Jacksonville to a close game last week. I was on Jacksonville. They covered, still didn't get the win. Turmoil for them. But I don't know, man. I think the Bills are going to come back and get the dub. But hey, the Texans are tough. My boy Nico Collins, man, number 1 leading receiver in the league. That's going to be a tough one. But the Texans, without Joe Mixon at the moment, I don't know if he's going to be playing. Actually, both of their starting running backs, Pierce and Mixon, they've been out. So if the Texans don't really establish a run, and it's all on CJ, the Bills rush is a pretty good unit. I feel like they're going to be able to get to CJ Stroud. They just got their asses beat on the road at Baltimore. So yeah, I think the Bills come out and get this stuff. It's only a 1-point spread, so it's really anyone's game.
Yeah, if you're the Bills, you want to get this win because you don't want to have 2 straight losses and everyone asking what's going on with Buffalo. And you brought up Nico Collins being the top receiver right now, currently, statistics-wise. I do want to go back because we talked about Mike Evans, but that man, Chris Godwin, is going crazy. Like, Chris Godwin, he's going nuts.
2 weeks ago, he was the number 1 receiver in fantasy.
Like, if you're right now, Baker's getting him the ball, like, and obviously you got to respect Mike, but Chris is doing phenomenal.
Yeah, the Bucs, they got 2 studs out there. They got Todd Bowles running that defense. Hey, but they got to go Atlanta. They got to deal with my nigga Turkey, man. And the Falcons are a tough team. Falcons are a tough team. Getting that win out against the Saints off field goals and turnovers.
Yep, field goals and touchdowns. Yep, the offense was non-existent. Pitt's non-existent. All of them non-existent. You got this game as timeless can be. Ravens, Bengals. Bengals finally got their first win. They're 1-3. Ravens are 2-2. AFC North. In division games really matter. Tiebreakers and all that. This is in Cincinnati, 1 p.m. What are you thinking about this one?
Oh my God. Matchup wise, I'm very concerned for the Bengals. That defense is not very good. I'm looking at the PFF right now, and the whole right side, the offensive right side of their defensive line, so defensive left side, that whole side is ass. They are ranked in the 100s on PFF. It's all orange. And if you're orange on PFF, that means you're ass. So I do not like how that is about to bold with Derrick Henry coming to town, with Lamar Jackson coming to town. But the Bengals really need this game. The Bengals can honestly not lose this game. So just off of that fact, I think I'll have to take the Bengals to cover. I think the Bengals are going to come out and win the game. I think they do.
Okay.
Joey B gonna have to outscore these boys, but they got everyone back offensively. They showed that they can run the ball a little bit last week against the Panthers. So in the games at home, and if the Bengals lose this game, their season is most likely over. So yeah, I think Bengals are. I think we're going to get a kitchen seat game for the Bengals. I think they're going to come out with a dub here.
Unless the Bengals defense magically improved from these past couple weeks to this week, I think the Ravens are gonna. I think the Ravens might put it on them, man. Like that defense is not good. The offense isn't even the problem. Like if you look at Joe Burrow's stats, like he ain't playing bad.
No,
It's just that defense can't stop anything. So
I,
I
I
think
think I think Lou's going to have him ready for the Ravens though. They know. I don't know about Derrick Henry now, but Lamar Jackson receivers, other not Derrick Henry, I think
mhm.
they'll be ready for that.
Okay.
So if the Ravens resort back to playing cute ball, then we're gonna have a shootout. We're gonna have a pretty close game. Now, if the Ravens don't fuck around and play the way that they're supposed to, it could get ugly. It could look like the first half of that Cowboys game. It could look like the Bills
Oof.
game. So yes,
Yeah, agreed. Then speaking of the Cowboys, man, if you want pure historic Sunday night football, a type of matchup, I don't think you get more historic as this. Cowboys Steelers Sunday night.
yeah, Cowboys coming off a win against the Giants on Thursday night football this past week. The Cowboys are definitely without DeMarcus Lawrence and most likely out with Michael Parsons. So
Hmm.
that's going to be tough. This team already cannot stop the run. So we already know what the Steelers are about
Oh yeah.
there with Justin Fields and Najee Harris. So, man, I don't know about this one. This one could potentially get ugly too. I know it's the NFL, so the Cowboys might be able to keep it close, but I think I gotta go. I gotta go. As much as it pains me to fucking say this, I think I gotta go with the Steelers here, just with the injuries and the defense. I'm just not sure how they're going to get enough stops, and this seems like Tomlin's not going to have these boys doing no bullshit at home
Yeah, I agree.
against the Cowboys.
I'm going with the Steelers as well. They're gonna run that rock, and then they're gonna have T.J. Watt cause freaking havoc, and with all the injuries on defense, unless the Cowboys magically found some free agents on the couch who are willing to play defense, I don't see them winning this particular game at this point in time, especially with the Steelers coming off that first loss against the Colts. They had a chance to win that game. But we did get to see Justin Fields what he looked like coming back from behind and they unleashed him. You look at Justin Fields' stats at the end of that game. Sure, he had some costly mistakes, but the stats were great.
Justin Fields should be the starter in Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
I don't care if Russell Wilson's healthy. I don't care what the deal is with Russell Wilson. That motherfucker's a non-factor to me. Justin Fields needs to be the starter for that football team from here on out. And Mike Tomlin, like you get me weak by not announcing it, but you can say it. We know. I know what's going on in that locker room. Y'all niggas don't want Russell Wilson to start at quarterback, and it's fine. I get it. You can tell me just so you can stop asking the question. You don't gotta massage Russell Wilson's ego. You don't. You Mike Tomlin, baby. You Mister Never Go Under 500. You got those niggas, man. You don't got massage that niggas' feelings.
Justin, you want to know also another indication of how we talked about at the beginning of the pod that we're already a fourth of the way done with the season?
What's up?
The London games start.
Yeah, and they don't play those
Yep.
early.
Yep. They do not play those early. The first one is this weekend, this Sunday. So it's one of those rare instances where you can get football from 9:30 a.m. to 12 a.m.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not about to wake up early to watch Jets and Vikings. And I
That's an
wish it get,
interesting. It's an interesting matchup because it's like the Jets. You got to start like if the Vikings get to 5-0, anyone who's you cannot put stock in them because once you get 5 wins already, you're in a great shape.
yeah, but the Eagles went 10-0 and still were a wild card team.
Well, hey, remember when the season started, we didn't have any expectations for the Vikings,
No, we did not. But
so a wild card would be great.
but if this game was fucking stateside, man, I would be all over the Jets. I would. I would, but those
They
Sunday
might,
games are weird going
they are.
across the pond like that.
They are. But that's just the indication. Like, yeah, the season we're getting in it now because we got the London games going on. So those were the games that we were previewing. Like I said, a fourth of the way done. Justin, you had some lists of stuff of biggest surprises and disappointments that you made a little list of some topics. But what's your biggest disappointment and surprise?
Man, if I gotta think. Well, surprise, definitely the Vikings. My biggest surprise is definitely the Vikings. I for sure did not see this coming. Once JJ McCarthy tore his meniscus and was ruled out for the season, I thought it was a wrap for the Vikings. I thought they were going to be picking in the top 10, and if they keep winning, they damn sure won't be picking in the top 10. Sam Darnold has been unbelievable. Justin Jefferson has reminded us why he's the best receiver in this league, and it's not even close. Jordan Addison, Brian Flores, shout out to Brian Flores with the defense. He got those boys ready to play every week. Great unit there. And then if I had to pick a disappointment, and there's a lot to pick from because niggas be fucking up, I would have to go with the Chiefs. Even though they're undefeated, it is not the same. It is not the same. Patrick Mahomes is not played like the best quarterback of this generation, as like everyone touts him out to be. Travis Kelce has been big ass. Yes, I said it. He gets the big tag because he's been big ass. The nigga spent all summer of Taylor Swift's ass, and now he's come back to be dog shit. Injuries are starting to pile up. The only thing they really got going for him is their defense right now. But hey, how can I really be that disappointed in them? They're 4-0. They're still winning games. It looks more like the Steelers than the Chiefs of past, but these motherfuckers are still winning games. And another disappointment, the Eagles. I did not expect the Eagles to be 500 going to their bye right now.
So I will flip the Chiefs one into for all the same reasons you just said. That's my biggest surprise that they're still undefeated. With all the things you said, that's the
Yeah.
surprise because they were one shoe size too big of if Isaiah Likely's shoe size was one thing smaller, they lose that game.
Well, we can't even say that because it would have been for the tie.
It would have been
So
for the tie, but
they still
I'm
had
saying
to go to overtime. Yeah, that's
momentum
true.
going. They have the shot. The Bengals, we already know, bang bang PI call. The Falcons, they don't get the PI call. Like it's every little the Chargers game, they play a Chargers team where the whole Chargers offense is dead. There's no one really out there, and they still
Poor
are in a
Justin Herbert, man. That dude is in pain. That
has
man is
no one,
in pain.
and they still only pull out. And Mahomes throws that terrible pick, and then Rashid Rice is going to be out for a long time. Pacheco's out for a bit, and they're still winning. It, it's really reminding me of like how these random like Patriots teams used to just win with terrible offenses sometimes, man.
Yeah, hey, and this phrase has been overused throughout um the discourse for a while, but the Chiefs has got the aura. The Chiefs have the aura. I think niggas be scared to play them sometimes, and that feeds into it. That feeds into it, and they're still undefeated, but they got to start playing better if they want to continue to be undefeated.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna come crumbling. Like it's just the fact too, like all these they every game they've had has been close. One play changes, they lose, or they have a better shot of losing. But it's literally old school Pats, bro. Defense is so good. They will keep you in the game no matter what. The offense just needs to break through a couple of times. Chris Jones and them boys hold you down, game's over.
Like I saw something that Patrick Mahomes is on pace for 20 interceptions this year.
Hmm.
Mahomes throwing that many picks, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like you already said, Travis is playing awful.
Terrible.
He's playing awful. Like Isaiah Likely, Rashid Rice, they're the I mean not Isaiah, like I'm sorry. Worthy, Xavier Worthy, Rashid like Rice and Pacheco, those are the boys getting the points, and two of the three are now gone.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And you losing Rice, that's a big deal. That was the
oh
whole
yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
That was the entire fucking offense. Now, who they about to be throwing to? They gonna get Devontae Adams? I fucking hope not.
No, because you throw that if they do, especially if it talks some bullshit, that's when you really start throwing out the old conspiracy theories. Because ain't no way.
Oh hell no. The Raiders better not. The Raiders fucking better not.
Now, one of the I see with the Jaden Daniels thing, I don't think it's that. Well, his stats are surprising, but I don't think it's that surprising because me and you were both, we both went heavy on. They only gave Washington 6 games. I know I took that over in a heartbeat. Like because I thought Washington was going to be better than a 6-win team.
Oh, you took the Washington over. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
hip to it. I wasn't hip to it. I knew they were gonna be better than the Giants. I
They
knew
only
that.
I no six. They had 6 wins, and if you look at that Washington team, I mean, the quarterbacks of the past who were leading passing, and they got pieces. They got Austin Eckler, who was looking good to the concussion. They got Scary Terry. They got all these pieces. Now they got Jane Daniels, who's almost automatic in the red zone, running it. Like they're good. Like they're off to a really good start. But I got to be a homer for disappointment. It's got. I don't even want to talk about the Bengals because it's whatever. But it's the Browns, man. The fact that they had that end tail run with Joe Flacco, got to the playoffs, got killed by Houston. Deshaun Watson has all summer to heal. He's starting, and they just look bad. That Raiders game just left a sour taste in my mouth because you win that, you're 2-2. Now you're 1-3, and you got a big game this week. You got Washington, who we were just talking about. You lose this, you're 1-4, and it's unless the whole AFC implodes, it's adios for you.
Yeah, that going back to that Raiders game, like Deshaun Watson has been complete ass since he was put on the Browns uniform. I will fucking say that, and I will preach that. That man has not been good. But that game specifically, they were collectively big ass. They all sucked. They all sucked. The backup tackles were getting killed all game. Penalties negating the few big plays that they could even get. Like that game was just an eye screw to watch. I was so mad that was the game that Ohio had to watch instead of the Chiefs and the Chargers because we at least all are happy watching the Chiefs be ass. They still won the game, but it warms our hearts when we see bad things happen to the Chiefs. Not watching the Browns be terrible. Just,
Mhm.
just absolutely ass.
Yeah, they got to do something, man. Like they cannot lose that Washington game, but Washington is the talk of the town right now. Washington gets if they go 4-1, that's going to change some things in the NFC. And I think one of my biggest surprises too, like I'm sure NFC is more wide open than I thought it was.
Yeah, it was wide open going into the season, but the teams that we thought were going to dominate this shit, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Cowboys, as some people think, I did a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, those teams are 500 right now, and it's the teams that we weren't talking about, like the Seahawks and the Vikings and Tampa Bay. Honestly,
Hmm.
Tampa Bay, they're at the top of that division. So yeah, did not think those three teams will be running the shit in the NFC right now for sure.
Yeah, then another. I mean, Peterson might not make it the end of the year. Doug Peter, something's happened, and
Jacksonville.
something's happened ever since they won that playoff game. Something has happened.
It's rough in Jacksonville. And same thing with the Eagles. They were all to a hot start last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think like 8-3, 7-3, something that haven't won since.
Yeah, something is. They, for all we know, they might be switching coaches by the end of the year since they always rotate coaches in these leagues. So it'll be interesting, man, when we come back because that'll be week 6, and there's going to be 2 more games underneath some teams' belts, and some people's seasons are going to be over sooner than Halloween, sooner rather than later. Any other surprises, Justin, or disappointments you want to talk about?
Um, let's see. Now, off the top of my head, you got something that I'm not thinking about.
You already talked about Fields. We already talked about the Jags, the Browns, KC, Vikings, Eagles, Jane Daniels. I mean, Buffalo surprising probably some people since they lost all their receivers, lost their offense, and they're still atop of their division. I don't like how the Jets are playing though.
No, no. but I was going to make them a loser. So we can talk about
Oh,
them
fair
later.
enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, shoot. Since obviously you didn't have really any winners for the college one, so go ahead, man.
Winners for the first quarter. We're just going to do winners for the first quarter of the season. Jaden Daniels,
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks,
Yep.
the Minnesota Vikings. Shout out
Mm-hmm.
to Minnesota. Oh my God. And then your team. I think I want to make them your team officially. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I really like Mike Evans.
Uh,
So,
you need a team. You can't be Mr. Shield out here all the goddamn
oh,
time.
that's the best thing to do, be Mr. Shield.
No, you just get
Mm-hmm.
to sit here and impunely talk shit about everyone else's team, and I don't like
Mm-hmm.
it. I do not like those vibes.
Well, I have other fan bases that I have to worry about.
Nah, man, it's the NFL. That should be the most emotional sometimes.
No, it is not over college. Not over college. And if you're a diehard basketball, no, basketball gets me more hot.
Well, that's because these niggas don't like to play the sport they get paid millions of dollars to play. But that's a different story for a different podcast.
So, I mean, yeah, those people get me hot. But no, I get it. Those are winners. I only have one winner in particular for that, and it's just anyone who's a fan of anything for this month of October, you are going to have a good time. NFL's heating up. College, the two biggest weeks outside of like the conference championship weeks are literally back to back in the middle of October with big matchups. If you're a movie fan, there's a lot of movies coming out. Anime fan, there's so many anime that start this weekend. If you're a content consumer, you're a winner this month in October. What about losers, Justin? What do you got?
Oh, I think we gotta go with the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you lose a game at home to Bo fucking Knicks, Aaron Rodgers. I'm so sick of fucking you. Every time I turn on the goddamn herd, Colin Cowherd is always talking about you. I hate that you moved the needle. You need to play better. We thought that inserting you into the Jets, we're going to make them a viable team, and
Mm-hmm.
I still have not seen it yet. I still like a lot more teams in the AFC than I like the fucking Jets. So I'm gonna need y'all to pick that shit up. I'm gonna need y'all to pick that shit up. And then on a more somber note, goddamn the internet and making those people in Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee your scapegoats for your political bullshit. Like they got hit by that hurricane and shit got fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Shit got fucked up. Those people do not need to go on the internet, even if they have it back and see y'all use and see them as props in some political infighting or some bullshit. Like that shit is fucking gross. It's nasty. Like that shit ain't cool.
No,
Yeah. Anyone on the web just not not talking about serious and that shit are trying to fucking help those people really need to like not be talking about that shit at all. Like if you ain't trying to help those motherfuckers, then shut up. Like your opinion's not really necessary.
right. Well, I agree. We agree. My loser, NFL wise, was the Sunday night game where they showed the graphic of the quarterbacks of that draft. And obviously, they had Josh Allen. They had second in total touchdowns since 2018. They had Lamar Jackson, two-time MVP. But then the other quarterbacks, where you could have posted that Baker Mayfield has two playoff wins, or how he's had a resurgence, or Sam Darnold, how he's leading a team undefeated. No, for Baker and Sam Darnold, they put both on their fourth NFL team. And then for Josh Rosen, who they did so dirty on that thing, they're just like, oh, Josh Rosen last played in the NFL in 2021. But then they tried to soften the blow, saying that he's in business school at Penn, which he's going to make a lot of money doing that too. But they didn't have to do Sam and Baker so dirty. You could have put current stats up and saying instead of saying fourth team.
Yeah, that's just low.
Especially that's low.
That's just low hanging fruit, bro. That's fucked up. Like we know, like we know.
And you acted
That ain't
like
where they're at
Baker.
now. They ain't where they're at now. They run the league right now for real.
And you're acting like Baker has that many less playoff wins than Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. He got two.
Right.
Like that was so. so damn,
That was
so
fucked
damn,
up. That was
so
fucked
damn
up.
dirty. And then just for this last one, this is a funny one. Just because on this podcast, obviously, we fuck with a guy in wrestling named Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre, he's promoting Royal Rumble out there in
Oh
Indianapolis. It's
God,
coming, and
this was
he
funny.
gets me weak because the fact that he said I'm the one doing all the promotion, but I'm not on the poster. While the person he was with promoting, Liv Morgan, is on the poster with Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Liv, and CM Punk, and he's like, I'm not even on the poster, but I'm doing all the promoting. Come on, man! I need to quit doing my boy Drew like that.
The funniest part was, bro, he had this the Colts team like WWE belt. Live over here with a world title, and this nigga just got the Colts team belt.
Yeah, like y'all need to quit doing my boy Drew though. But that Royal Rumble, we will be talking about that way more in months to come because God knows that one's about to be hell. That's going to be cinema.
That would be the L7C in the house. What do you mean?
Yeah. And I don't know who's that one right now. Boy, and Roman on that cover, Roman enter that Rumble. Oh, yo.
Hey, if Roman Reigns does not have a belt by the time the Royal Rumble comes around, call the offshore book. Call your offshore bookie because we all know I'll put my goddamn life savings on that man winning the Royal Rumble.
You might have Cody Roman 3 and that shit. Oh, I could imagine the video packages.
I think that feud deserves it. I do.
That's ways to go, ways to go. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Already a quarter of the way done with the NFL season. We'll be back in 2 weeks talking about will will the Vikings be 6-0 by the time we come back, or will they be
That
five
way.
and one, or maybe they'll calm down, maybe go to 4-2. Uh, we'll see. I mean, they're one of the stories right now. With that being said, L7C podcast signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.